In a move that reflects the humility and simplicity he has championed throughout his papacy, Pope Francis has approved a series of sweeping changes to the traditional papal funeral. These revisions break away from centuries of ceremonial grandeur and mark a final, deeply personal statement from the 88-year-old pontiff. For generations, the death of a pope has been marked by a highly ritualized sequence of events steeped in tradition and pageantry. Pontiffs have traditionally been buried in three nested coffins, one of cypress, one of lead, and a final outer layer of oak, symbolizing mortality, dignity, and eternity. Their bodies were typically displayed on a catafalque in St. Peter's Basilica, where the faithful could file past to pay their last respects. Pope Francis, however, has opted for something far more understated. When the time comes, his body will rest in a simple wooden coffin lined with zinc. Gone is the imposing catafalque. Instead, mourners will be invited to view his remains while the coffin's lid is removed, but without the elaborate platform and regal trappings that have defined previous papal farewells. Even more significantly, Pope Francis will become the first pope in over a century to be buried outside the Vatican. His final resting place will be the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore, which is a Saint Mary Major, one of the four major papal basilicas in Rome and a site of deep spiritual resonance for him. Prior to Francis, the last pope to be buried outside the Vatican was Leo XIII, who died in 1903. This decision isn't just symbolic, it's personal. Located on the Esquiline Hill, which is one of Rome's ancient seven, the basilica has played a recurring role in Pope Francis's spiritual life. It was there, early on the morning of the 14th of March 2013, just hours after he was elected as the first pope from the Americas, that George Mario Bergoglio came to pray before the icon of the Salus Populi Romani, which means the protectress of the Roman people, a revered Byzantine depiction of the Virgin Mary. The same icon has welcomed him before and after every one of his more than 60 international journeys as Pope. In a December 2023 interview with Mexico's N Plus television, Francis revealed his intentions to forego the elaborate rituals typically associated with a papal death. He said, "I have made my choice. I want it to be simple and I want to rest where I have always found comfort, in the arms of Mary." The Basilica is no stranger to papal burials. It already houses the tombs of 7 popes as well as several notable church figures, including the controversial Cardinal Bernard Law, the former Archbishop of Boston. Its history stretches back over 16 centuries and it looms large not only in the skyline of the Eternal City but in the religious imagination of its people. Francis's connection to the church deepened over time. He visited Santa Maria Maggiore in 2019 to pray during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic in a deserted Rome. After his abdominal surgeries in 2021 and 2023, he returned to give thanks. In 2022, seated in a wheelchair before the statue of Mary, commissioned by Pope Benedict XV at the end of the First World War, he led an international prayer service for peace in Ukraine and other conflict zones. Despite the changes to his burial, some traditions will endure. The funeral mass is expected to take place in St. Peter's Square, which is a grand and iconic setting where millions have witnessed the funerals of popes past. But Francis's final journey from the Vatican to the Esquiline Hill will be one of quiet significance, an understated end to a papacy that sought to strip away excess in favor of humility, mercy, and service.